This is Dr. Jack Painter of the A.W. Tozer Theological Seminary, professor for the course Exegetical Skills Using Electronic Biblical Research. This session is on saving your bibliographic information. Now that you've found a resource or resources, what do you do with the information? You can physically write down the information or cut and paste into a text document, but you're left to format the information into the proper format for citation. For Tozer, this is Turabian Chicago style. Then you need to find a way to annotate your resource. This is where an electronic bibliography program becomes extremely useful, because all of those programs available do these things and more. The most well-known commercial product is EndNote, and as far as I know, it's a very good program. I have used the free open source application Zotero for many years now, and it is constantly improving. From a browser button, Zotero will detect the type of resource you have on the page, then send the information to the most recently opened bibliography in the program. Further, it stores your information not only locally, but on a cloud server, so all of your bibliographies are available on multiple computers and even mobile devices. You can even share your bibliographies with others. Zotero was originally a Firefox plugin, but several years ago, the developers created standalone applications for Mac, Windows, and Linux. This allows you to access Zotero from Safari, Chrome, or Firefox. Further, there are plugins for Word and OpenOffice or LibreOffice, allowing you to access your bibliography database from within those applications. Since I use other word processors, especially Scrivener, I drag and drop from Zotero straight into my documents. If you need help, there's a nice web-based manual for Zotero, as well as a load of YouTube tutorials on how to use various aspects of Zotero. Here, I simply want to point out the salient features of getting the program and understanding its basic parts. Zotero.org is the place to get Zotero and any related plugins. Though you can manually enter any bibliographic information into Zotero, you're limited to 3 browsers for the auto feature: Firefox, Safari, and Chrome. Zotero actually works entirely inside of Firefox if you like, but for Safari and Chrome you will need not only the plugin, but the standalone application, which I personally like to use as a Safari user. All of the relevant installation modules can be found on the Zotero.org site. If you have installation issues and a YouTube video does not help, let me know. Once you've installed Zotero in Firefox or standalone with the browser plugins, you'll need to register with Zotero to set up cloud sharing. You can sync an unlimited number of bibliographic entries. Though not absolutely necessary, this will keep your bibliographies backed up and synced in case something goes wrong with your computer. Further, if you happen to be on another computer besides your own, you can access your entire library right in the browser and edit any of the records as necessary, as well as create a citation in Chicago Turabian style that can be copied. There's also an option to link actual full text files, though there's a 300 megabyte limit within the Zotero server. I use Box's free 10 gigabyte cloud service. So much for getting and installing Zotero. What about using it? I will first show you the Zotero interface, next illustrate getting an entry into Zotero, then show exporting a citation out to a document. The main interface of Zotero is composed of 3 different panes in the main space and a range of pull-down actions plus a search field in the top area. The left-hand pane consists of the main folder, My Library, and a series of other folders consisting of separate bibliographies which you add from a button above the pane. Since all of your entries exist as a single entry in My Library, any one entry can be placed in multiple bibliographies but still show up only once there. That way, a book you use for multiple purposes can show in multiple places. If you happen to download the same document record from the internet, Zotero will create a duplicate folder that allows you to merge the 2 records. The middle pane consists of the list of books with title and author columns connected with the bibliography selected in the left pane. Once you select an item in the second column, the third pane will show details about the item in the Info tab, notes you make about the item in the Notes tab, tags you give to an item in the Tags tab, and related Zotero items in the Related tab. The Info and Notes tabs are the most important since these are where the actual bibliographic information resides and where you can annotate the document, respectively. Depending on the item type, the bibliographic information in the tab Info will be different from any other type. If you have sent an entry to Zotero, Zotero typically will have already determined the document type and thus the item type in Zotero, whether book, article, book section, or other document. As many fields as are available from the source web page will be filled in. You can manually fill any you wish. It is this information that Zotero will use to compose a footnote or bibliographic entry. So to summarize, each pane is more specific from left to right. Across the top space are a series of button-like pull-down menus for adding a new collection, item, note, and other features. Here are a few features. First, you can actually import collections from other sources and export your library in a variety of formats. If you have an identifier like an ISBN number, Zotero will actually find and import the item. Second, you can manually create an item from the Plus menu. Zotero actually has 33 different document types available. Third, you can either link to a file on your computer, to a URL, or actually store a file like a PDF directly in Zotero. After you've installed Zotero and understand the basic interface, you need to actually get entries into the app. You can choose to manually input your data by selecting the plus pull-down, selecting the document type, then filling in the data yourself. Unless you absolutely enjoy data processing, this method is highly inefficient. Instead, let Zotero do the work for you. Assuming you have the plugin installed for your favorite browser, Safari, Chrome, or Firefox, there will be an icon in the toolbar at the top. If the page has no usable metadata to indicate that it is an appropriate document, the icon will be a dimmed-out Z. If the web page contains a book record, an article record, a newspaper article, or some other content, an icon corresponding to that content will replace the Z. When you click on the icon, the plugin sends the information to the standalone app and inserts it into the currently open bibliography. There's a notification in the bottom right of the screen while this is happening. After the import, your entry will appear in the currently open bibliography as well as in the master list, My Library. If My Library is the current bibliography, the entry will also appear in the Unfiled Items area. Later, you can drag these to any bibliography you have also created or create a new bibliography. Now that you have an entry in, you can fill in any other information you like, attach a file like an actual PDF of an article, and create any number of notes. Zotero can be the space to keep all of your reading annotations connected directly to the bibliographic record. Because you can add tags, you can connect any particular document and its annotations to whatever paper or project you may be working on by searching for a tag related to that paper or project. Finally, you need to create footnotes or endnotes and a bibliography for any research you need to formalize into a paper, article, or book. There are several steps in this process. First, you need to select the format you will use. For Tozer papers, you will use Chicago Manual of Style 16th edition full note, which corresponds to the Turabian Style Guide footnote bibliography style. You can set this style in Preferences Export from a pull-down list. If you happen to need another style format in the future that doesn't occur in the list, Zotero has a vast repository of styles that you can import. I, for example, normally use the Society of Biblical Literature 2nd edition for my scholarly writing, so I have imported that style. When you have the style set, you can then easily import either a footnote or bibliographic entry into your document. Zotero actually has a plugin for Microsoft Word, but I simply drag and drop since I normally use Scrivener or Pages. For a footnote, simply hold down the Shift key and drag to the cursor in your document, or simply drag for a bibliography entry. It's as easy as that. If you want to create a full bibliography, simply select all the entries in your particular bibliography, right-click, and from the pop-up menu select Create Bibliography from Items. You can then choose where you want the list sent. If you send to the clipboard, you can then paste your bibliography straight into a document, where you can then add formatting such as italics. Zotero has a number of other highly helpful features which you can learn about by reading the Support and Documentation under the Help menu. As with any technology, the best way to learn is to install it and use it. Personally, I do not need a bibliography program to do anything more than Zotero, and it is free and frequently updated. I encourage you to try it out.